Ciao ragazzi, my name is Anthony. Welcome back to Inter Worldwide. It's a pleasure to be here with my friend Mario Galliano because we've got lots to talk about today. So much so that I raced home. Well, not really raced home. I raced out of my office door and drove very responsibly in what is torrential wet weather in southwest Sydney to get here to talk on first podcast in a while. I don't really know how to distinguish a podcast anymore. I sort of just label content as it comes out. But shout out to the 12 people that are joining us on the first click. I appreciate it. Mario, how you doing from New York, man?
Not too bad. Not too bad. I'm hitting soccer bets. That's all I need to see. So
Nice. Did they just change the markets over there a little bit, like betting wise, the last year or so? Have they regulated it a bit more? Because I know you guys went through a long period where betting sports online is actually not as easy as it looks.
In New York, they made it impossible until January. We finally got the ability to legally bet on games outside of New York, not including like professional sports. So like college basketball, all that shit, you can't bet on for teams in New York. It's weird.
Wow, that is very, very interesting, man. Well, shout out to you and shout out to all the money that you're about to lose betting for the first time on sport. Welcome to the club, man. Lots to talk about today. Let's start just by quickly talking about our 5-0 win against Salernitana. Everybody saw my reaction. I wasn't jumping out of my seat. I'll start jumping out of my seat if we're looking back after Torino and Fiorentina, and we've got 6 points there going into what's going to be a huge game in Turin. 2 trips to Turin in the space of 3 weeks, one to face Torino, the other to face Juve. How did you feel after Salernitana, or were you just relieved that we were able to do the normal thing and beat the team coming last?
I mean, we should have put this team away. We should have put the last like 3 games away the way it's looked. I mean, against Sassuolo, fine, maybe not, but we needed to win this game. Our strikers needed to score, and they finally were able to score. I bet against Inter because I was like, there's no way in hell that they're going to beat the Salernitana team in their form and the way Salernitana have reinforced their team in January and steal points from literally everybody they've played this year. So I was like, this is hopeless. I was like, this is going to be a 1-1 draw, 0-0 draw. It's going to be a bore fest. We're going to have the game basically in our hands the whole time. We're just not able to finish it. But I'm so happy I was wrong. I don't even care because when was the last time we put up 5 goals on a team? It's been since like the beginning.
It was Salernitana. It was Salernitana last time, bro.
I think that's how bad it's been. Like we fell off. We hit that winter Inter. It really hit us this month, and it came a little bit delayed. But
yeah, I was about to say it didn't come as early this time around, but like it came around later on like a big bitch.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just happy we won. I watched the game. I was watching like sporadically because I was on my way home from work, but I was catching the goals. I thought I was like, this is how most of our games should be, where we're just smacking the other teams around, and it shouldn't even be a contest half the time because we're so much better than literally everyone we've played.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks to the 13 people that are here. I literally scheduled this stream only about 40 minutes ago, so I didn't expect many people to tune in live. But thank you very much. If you are listening back, make sure you like and subscribe. Head over to SERIE as well. And thank you to them for sponsoring this video. We really appreciate them, and we'll go through my team at the end of this one as well. In the chat, we've got Emiliano. How you doing, man? Matt Pickham is in the house enjoying his Monday despite the weather. So Jono would be as well. And what's up to Gio? Moving on, bro. Let's talk about a team that you really like, actually love. Mario Galliano is a huge Liverpool fan, really likes them, really likes them. In fact, he's actually told me in confidence that if he wasn't an Inter fan, he'd support Liverpool. You're looking at 2 dudes who, while they don't have a cultural reason to hate Liverpool, both hate Liverpool for socio-cultural reasons. Me personally, I think I've mentioned before, I come from a bracket of Southwest Sydney where I've got a lot of Greek friends, man. My 2 or 3 of my best mates in the whole world are Greek. And yeah, but with great Greek also comes great Liverpool supporting, especially here in Australia. Like if you're Greek, you automatically support Liverpool, man. So it's a hell of a thing. But understand yourself, you've got some Liverpool friends that you haven't been too fond of in terms of the way they behave as being a football fan, right?
Oh my God. Since the last podcast I came on with where we talked about Liverpool, they've just been creeping in my mentions and unlucky for them, I mute Liverpool on Twitter. So if you're watching this again, because you probably are, because you're a bunch of losers, you're probably, if you want to like mention me in your comments and like interact with me, you're gonna have to not say the word Liverpool or LFC or cock,
And
because
you know they
all
can't
three
do
of those.
that.
Yeah, they have to say Liverpool. Oh, Liverpool's the best. Like stupid shit like that. Like,
So did you do your classic thing where you just like lit a fire on Twitter, closed the door while you threw the match in, and then just didn't didn't respond to Liverpool and LFC? That means you would have said some stuff in the first leg that people would have remembered and made sure to get back at you, because that's how Twitter is.
I don't even know what I said. They were just talking nonsense, like shit about I was saying that I was on the last podcast, like how Inter's not even good. This area sucks. I'm just like, I really don't care. Like, you guys are losers. Just accept it. Just go to your Liverpool bubble. Go recruit your Liverpool friends where you can just all, like, "Whoa," and, just circle jerk each other and go have a good time, and don't bother me. I really don't care what you have to say, because you're not going to change my mind. You're not going to tell me Liverpool's better than Inter, because I really don't care. I still think you guys suck. You're a bunch of idiots at the end of the day. And then they start going off about like, they just circle around everything. They just start about,
Yeah,
oh
so it's all
well,
it's all,
Liverpool from the Beatles. I'm like, really? This is what you're gonna freaking say? You have nothing better to come up with?
it's obviously an issue with their
You're
fans,
such
man. Same as
losers. They
me.
have nothing. You say anything like that they don't agree with, and they go, Liverpool FC fans calling all you Liverpool FC fans. And you get like two other people that just chime in and just say some random idiotic kind of things, and just like, nice, good job,
This is
yeah.
it's really refreshing to hear this from the other side of the world, man, because I've spent my whole life bantering Liverpool fans, but when I come on this platform, I can't resonate with everybody, because all we talk is Serie A and Italian football. So to hear it from you from the other side of the world, it means it's not just me, and it's not just the ones that I know here. It's all of them. It's all of them. Good comment here from Romez3, and I haven't seen you on the channel before, so subscribe if you're new. Barella showing up big time was my biggest take from this game against Salernitana. Regardless of the opposition, I hope he trains well and rests up. Yeah, look, Barella looked like a world-class midfielder against the worst team in Serie A. The same way Denzel Dumfries looked like an 8 out of 10 wing back against the worst team in Serie A. The same way everybody on the team had a really good game against the worst team in Serie A. So show me something against Torino. Show me something against Fiorentina. Inter's got this one big plus in the fixture list coming up domestically, because when you look at the teams that we've got to play, I was actually looking at it today because I'm like, why are people saying that we've got the easiest fixture list? Let me go back to it again and see who we're playing in the relegation zone. This, that, da-da-da. The way I see it, man, we got a lot of teams that won't have too much to play for when we play them. We are playing all the mid-table sides. This stresses me out because this means we need to win these games even easier, bro. The way I'm looking at it, Cagliari might be the only team facing relegation that we come up against before season's end, with Juve being the only top team, Mario.
Yeah, we have Juve, Spezia. Are they safe right now?
They are safe-ish, but they could be in trouble. I think we do have Spezia again. I know we've got Udinese. I know we've got Sampdoria. Yep. I know we've got Torino. I know our game in hand is against Bologna. I know we've got Fiorentina and Hellas Verona. All sides that know exactly where they're going to finish at the end of the seasons. You're not going to Europe, but you're not being relegated.
Yeah, like all these teams, like you said, they have nothing to play for except for Cagliari, maybe. Did we play them? Was that on the list? Yeah, Cagliari. Yeah. So then Spezia's 4 points out of relegation, and that's really it. Everybody else is kind of just like, all right, we're good. We don't need to do anything. Roma maybe playing for a European conference spot. That's about it. I mean, I don't really care about them. They stink.
It's just a little pipe dream that they could come back and make top 4. But with this Juve side racking up points, they're going to just solidify it soon.
Yeah, Juve's. They're kicking into gear, and they actually have life in the Scudetto race. I hate to say
people are telling.
So, like we keep dropping points. Napoli's dropping points. Milan might drop points. They should drop points. And, it's pretty open.
It's only 10 games left until the end of the season, but my brain feels like there's still half a season left, man. Like 10 games seems like such a long time from here to the end of the season because it's so close. It hasn't been this close for such a long time. It's not like you've got a team that's up by 4 or 5 points and then can win to stretch it to 8 and psychologically make the other teams tap out. Because, a lot of the battle is psychologically making the other teams tap out, man. And that's what we did last season. It's what we could have done had we put maybe 2 better games together in February. But it is what it is. Let's talk a little bit about Napoli dropping 3 points altogether at home today against Milan. Napoli fans doing what they do best, winning the Scudetto a couple of times throughout the season when they're on top of the ladder. That was no different this time around. I think out of the 3, out of nowhere today, they now look likely to drop more towards the 4th position and start maybe losing touch, albeit they're the only ones that don't have cup football to play. They're the only ones playing Serie A. Bro, this reeks of Spalletti at Inter, man. It really, really does. I can see you laughing.
He always does this. I mean, I have the most respect for Spalletti. He's a great coach. He'll get you from that, like on the cusp of Champions League into Champions League. But then after that, it's like, okay, what now? What's next? How do I change this team? How do I fix this team? How do I reinforce this team so that we can go from being the 3rd place Napoli, the 2nd place Napoli, the up and down for 1st place Napoli into winning the Scudetto and actually winning the Scudetto, not just, touching the Scudetto. They need to just be consistent. I think they still have one of the best teams in Italy where they should be able to keep that 3rd spot. They have 4 points on Juve, and I don't think that they're going to drop enough points where Juve is going to pass them. But, that's really just depends on them. Like, they played against the Milan. We can talk all the shit in the world about Milan. Milan's a good team this year. They were a good team last year. That's why,
Pioli needs to get his credit, man. Like, he has done a fantastic job keeping them going this far, bro. They're 10 games away and they're still winning the league. Like, there's still plenty of time for them to drop off, but they're still here. Match day 28, they're still here. Just like for us, up until match day 33-ish, they were still there, 32, 33-ish up against us.
Yeah, I think within the last 2 weeks, Milan lose out something. They're going to drop something somewhere, and we're just going to not run away with the league, but we're going to win by like 4 or 5 points because we have the game in hand still, 2 points back. So we win that with Bologna, automatically 1st place by 1 point. After that, a tie, a loss, we control our own destiny, and we're in a good place to win out the rest of the season. The only kind of games that I worry about is Juve and maybe like one of the relegation side teams like Cagliari, where we just sometimes we've seen it happen lately where we just nothing comes of it. The strikers get lost. The defense, De Vrij sabotages us like he's been doing since December, and
look at you predicting your Handanovic agenda.
There is no Handanovic agenda. It's a De Vrij agenda. Handanovic is not the problem.
You say definitely need to cash in on De Vrij?
Yes, 100%.
Matt Pickham's a funny dude. He's not as optimistic as you are. He'd be sitting here shaking his head like me going, what do you mean, Mario? Where are we dropping points? We could drop points to Fiorentina, Verona, Spezia, any of those teams. And that's what I mean when I say there's 10 games away, but I feel like we're a whole season away from deciding this league. Talk to me again on like match day 34, like 35, honestly, because that's where it's looking at the moment. I love this comment. In the Premier League, I follow one team. It's whoever is playing Liverpool. Emiliano says, is Atalanta done as a top 4 team? I don't know what's wrong with Gasperini. He's leaving a lot of his good players on the bench. Like, if you've got a fully fit Muriel and Malinowski at the moment, for God's sake, start them and don't think twice. For me personally, and I think you and I started talking about Malinowski, like we started whispering it last season. I swear to God, I think he might be a top 3 name on my list to sign in Serie A. If you were to say, write any 3 players on paper, he might just be one of them. Granted, he goes, bro, he reminds me a bit of Barella, to be honest, man, in a sense where he can properly go missing, but he can properly be everywhere and do everything and make the right pass. And obviously his shot speaks for itself. He's probably got the most powerful shot in Serie A. He's the last man that you'd want to face with the ball and time and space.
But where does he play? He's an attacking midfielder?
Where does he play? Exactly right. We're not going to take we can't remove more technicality from our midfield at the moment playing with Inzaghi like this.
We can't move Brozovic out of the defensive mid role, and you
No.
can't just play like a 3-man kind of center midfield because it doesn't really fit for any system. You can't just have that much space all over the place. It has to be reinforced. The 2 center mids have to cover for the defensive mid or for the attacking mid, whatever the case is. And Malinovsky, he's not a box-to-box kind of player. He's not a regista. He's an attacking-minded center midfielder / attacking midfielder. So he can play on the right wing spot, but we don't play with right wingers. So signing him is like, I don't know. It's not really like signing anybody at the same time. Like if we had a team where we shifted formations and, you know, we played our football manager, we have our 3 preset formations, and we have the 4-3-3, the 3-5-2, 3-4-3, all that. Yeah, sure, you can plug him in, but we play with the coach who doesn't change anything really. He doesn't play 4 in the back. He doesn't play 3 up front. So, and he doesn't play with an attacking midfielder unless dire needed where Brozovic, Barella, and everybody dies. Not the case. So where does he fit? On somebody else's team, unfortunately.
Yeah. Facts, man. Facts. Keston, how you doing, man? Thanks for coming in. I'm not too sure if I've seen you here before either, so make sure you subscribe if new. I see you in the chat. King Darian, it's good to see you. Ricky Buzz as well. Notice when we don't back pass, we win. If we don't back pass unnecessarily, we will win. King Darian said, let's keep it real. Is Juve coming second? There's actually no telling where they could come, because if they were to drop points in any of the next 2 to 3 games, psychologically, they would have to surrender any sort of pipe dream that they have of winning the league. The thing is with Juve is they're still only 1 or 2 bad results away from not being in the Scudetto race. It's just a matter of when it's going to come. The longer they can prolong that, the longer the anxiety comes into play for the other teams. So, you know, they could drop points in the next round. And if we pick up 3 points in the next round, I'm ready to put my hand up and say, don't lose against them in Turin. They got no chance. That's it. Just like, don't lose the game in Turin and it's done.
In order to just like finish second or third place, they have to win every single game, and one of them has to be against us. So
yeah, they can only get 83 points maximum, I'm pretty sure.
I don't think they can win the league, and I don't think they can come in second place. I think they could push for third. That's probably their best bet, because I think Napoli might drop a game or 2. That's like a couple draws maybe, but I don't think Juve has what it takes.
Everybody in the top 4, despite keeping it close at the top, needs to be very thankful that the teams outside the top 4 have been really bad and inconsistent this season. Like Atalanta must be looking at their season going, how the hell did this happen? We were one of the first teams in Italy, in theory, to be eliminated from the Champions League. And I know you're dropping to the Europa League, but you could then shift your priorities and say, let's win every game domestically and go on runs like we have in the past. Granted, they have had some injuries, and now it really highlights, you know, the flaws in Atalanta when they do have injuries, because they now look unlikely to make the top 4 and to miss out on Juve quite comfortably. Roma, it's good to see them winning, man. I always love seeing them win this season under Jose Mourinho, man. That's just something, like, it would be a dream for them to pip Juve to 4th, but that's not going to happen. If anything, I'd say they stand more of a chance of like Napoli doing the most Napoli thing of all time and dropping enough points to be in some really ridiculous position on the last day of the season where all they need to do is draw to make it, and they lose something like 2-1 or 3-1. Like that's, yeah, but hopefully they're not at that level. Gio says, for me, it's Dybala's contract. That's the issue. And yeah, that's the segue into our next topic of conversation on this video, and probably the most interesting one. I mean, hey, he's occupying most of the thumbnail, isn't he? Paulo Dybala, something's wrong. Something's very wrong with his contract at Juve, and you don't need to be a Juve fan to say that or have to admit it, because he was supposed to be fit. I think either his agent or some sort of agent's assistant came out and said he was fit about 5 days ago, and then all of a sudden he's not available for Spezia. Max Allegri came out afterwards and said that I'd rather just rest him for Villarreal. I think there's something more to this. I think that there's a problem with his contract, and I don't think he's going to sign an extension at Juve, man. I could be really wrong, and tomorrow or the next day we could wake up and have him sign another extension, but apparently they're offering even less now, which what they're offering before. They're offering 500K less, 7 million a year, plus whatever bonuses are to come. Pepe Marotta, reportedly from Gazzetta, is saying that we are willing to offer 7.5 plus whatever bonuses. And this deal I like, because you are not doing something stupid like going, oh, hey, here's 9.5 million a season. You're not going over and saying that we're going to give you ridiculous bonuses. We're saying that will match what you want to get, but are not getting mentally and whatever. You're unfulfilled at Juve. You've got some bad blood with whatever happens, like whatever it was down the track, whether it was being shifted from the main guy of CR7, Mario. I don't know what the go is, but what's your opinion on the whole situation? Do you think Dybala is out of Juve? Do you think we have a chance at signing him, or is he just going to be the next free coup for Barcelona? Is he going to England? Drop your thoughts, man, because I swear to God, if we get a former Palermo boy, you and I are going to have to bust out the pink shirts.
If he comes, we're winning a treble. So I'll say right now, we're going to have him, Darmian, and I think that's it from Palermo. So once you have a player like Dybala in your team, your chances of winning a treble or anything and success just goes through the roof. Juve did not maximize it. They could have won Champions League with them, but they decided to go every other route than to say we need to play Dybala. Dybala is a good player. He's one of the best players in Serie A. I don't care what anybody says. He is one of the best players in Serie A, one of the most technically talented, gifted players we've seen in years. If we sign him, I think it fills a huge gap in our striking depth, and he also fills that Lautaro kind of void where they're both Argentinian, plus Correa. They're both easily interchangeable where they could play in the striker and behind the striker. So whatever they choose to play, yeah, I know it's not the target man that we're used to in
it doesn't mean we wouldn't get a target man anyway. At the end, when you finish talking, we'll start talking numbers and how it's feasible for us.
Yeah, so like we have I'm sorry, I can't even speak English right now. We have depth trouble in striker. We signed Caicedo, God knows why at this point, because he's been used once or twice for 3 minutes. And Alexis, he's been one of our better players up until about recent. Dzeko and Lautaro missing for a month and a half, 2 months. So when you have those droughts, you need the other players to step up. Alexis was able to step up for a little bit, and now hopefully Dzeko and Lautaro are back. But when you have a player like Dybala, it doesn't matter. He's going to get you goals one way or another. Either he's going to score or he's going to find somebody else to score. He's a winning kind of player. He did it at Palermo. He found the goal every time he could. Every game he was just creating chances. Then he went to Juve and he sat on the bench for freaking like half his contract. Then Allegri comes and he's like, I'm going to make this fucking guy captain because everyone else is retarded. So I don't see why we shouldn't sign him. He's 27 years old, 28 years old. And, you have him for 5 years and he's going to be a top player. I don't really care.
So the contract for me is obviously 1 year too long, but you need to make these sort of sacrifices in a sense that, we're not 100% committing to 5 years. Who knows? He could have another really good 2 years with us and end up going somewhere else. You really never know with this guy. And this is the sort of deal where, as Mario is sort of hinting at, it's still unpredictable. It's not like you're signing this guy to retire at Inter. You're signing him for like his last big contract. He's still looking for a prime contract here. 7.5 million into 5 years is a 35 million. About a 30. Yeah, no, it's about a 37 and a half. 35 and a half, 37.5 million operation, which to taking your rival's best player for 37.5, but not a cent of it goes to the Gobby in Turin. It all goes to the player, man. So it's a no-brainer for me, but you don't up that anything. Let's not sit there and haggle. And in 2 weeks, we're still negotiating with him and he wants 9 million or something, because at the end of the day, if Barcelona want him, they can get him, man. Barcelona have no problem with liquidity. Their books are horrible at the moment, and I still don't know how they're pulling some dodges over there, but they're targeting free transfers for a reason. They can pay for those free transfers because they don't need to owe anything up front. They'll just rely on their liquidity, their marketability, which the more they win and the more with Xavi, the more it's going to come back. So that's the reason why they can sign players like Sergio Aguero. Of course, what happened to him is upsetting, and offer him a big wage. Of course, that's why they can still offer money to players like Adama Traore, Aubameyang mid-season, and that's why they'll probably get Franck Kessié as well for a big wage as well. So that could be how it goes down. Inter could not be in the running at all. But let us know in the comments what you feel. Romez says Dybala is a leader at Juve. Any opportunity you get to shit on them, you should take it for sure. He's a proven winner, and we need more of that in our team. Yeah, 100%, man. And like I've read a lot of Juve chat, spoken to a couple of Juve fans, and just made sure I was on top of their opinion now before they start to change their mind. I asked a lot of them today, how would you honestly feel, banter aside, if Dybala was to come to Inter? And most of them had the courage to say that they'd be pretty pissed off or they'd be pretty devastated because it's absolutely horrible. And I'm glad that I spoke to them today now because I don't want to hear them in a couple of if it does happen, come in and say, oh, haha, you've just taken an underperforming player for $7.5 million a season. Like less of that. It would be absolutely horrible. And Mario, remember when they used to joke and say, well, not really joke, they were serious. Remember when they really wanted to get Icardi from us just to keep pushing us down, man? And I said to a lot of people on a lot of platforms, that only works when you're on top and not chasing the pack. Yeah. And then the momentum started to shift and they wanted it less and less. And that's why when the rumors came around again in the offseason, after that bum does nothing but sit on the bench for Paris, I was like, who wants it now? Who wants it now? Do you guys want it or what? The reason I really want Dybala to come to us, bro, is because it completes the 180-degree turn of let's get Icardi while we're first and you're fourth and piss you off to we get Dybala when it's the other way around. And Beppe Marotta actually joked about it 3 years ago in an interview when they were pressuring us about Icardi. He's like, maybe we'll talk about Dybala to Inter. And since then, the brother has not penned an extension on his contract.
Love it. I freaking love it.
If it happens, man, I'm pulling out the news articles from 3 years ago, bro.
Big time. I mean, that you can't make that shit up. That's hysterical. The timeline just works out perfectly. Between Marotta leaving, Dybala getting involved in this shit, and now Dybala potentially leaving to us. Top tier.
It is. But still, all just paper talk, man. We could wake up to an extension. We're just having a good chat here in the Arvo, man. Keston Smith says, I prefer Alexis over Dzeko and Lautaro even when he's not scoring, he's dropping back and defending, doing link-up plays. Yeah, look, it's no secret that Lautaro is now the front man because Edin Dzeko comes back to pick the ball up in an attacking midfield position more than Çalhanoğlu is holding the ball there. It's working when it's working, and when it's not working, it's getting frustrating. So, and I think that's how it's just going to be for the rest of the season, Keston, because that's the way Limone Inzaghi is going to keep playing. I don't see him shifting that at all, but would you still prefer Alexis to start over any of these two, Mario, at the moment? Or is Dzeko Lautaro? It has to be your default going in because you know that each one of those two's repertoire as starters can still deliver you a goal probability-wise more than Alexis can as a starter.
If they didn't score against Salernitana, I would say put Alexis up there by himself because the other two suck.
Yeah.
But now that
they did the bare minimum in their last shift, so they're allowed to turn up to work next week.
No, it's not even that they did the bare minimum. They freaking Lautaro scored a hat trick, and Dzeko he scored. He scored some nice goal. And what he scored, one or two? Just one, right?
Dzeko got two.
He got two. So if he scored one goal, like a penalty or a tap in, I'd say, all right, there's a case there. But Dzeko's scoring goals, like nice goals that you can't really like take away how they went in. So I think it's contributing to hopefully see that they're back to their old form before their little drought. Would I start Alexis? No, not right off the bat. I think, especially because they hammered Salernitana. If they didn't hammer Salernitana like that, I'd say, okay, we consider it and, it's worth a shot. But Alexis is a better change of pace kind of impact substitute from what we've seen. When he starts, he's good, but he doesn't have the same kind of pick me up or he lifts the team almost. As soon as he gets on that field as a sub. You see it from the first time he moves. That first pass he receives, he turns. It's quick, and it's a switch of the field. He takes on his man, or it's a shot. And it's always positive from him. And that's something that you can't just do for 90 minutes, if that makes sense, because then you get frustrated. He's not looking to create with the other team. It's more of, we have nothing going on. Alexis comes on. Okay. We just figured out what we're going to do. We're going to find the ball in the pockets, and he's going to find something somewhere on the field where we can be dangerous. And that doesn't always happen for a player that starts. It's a weird mentality. Like you could say it with a lot of players. People in Zaghi back in the day when he started, he was a good player, but it wasn't the same as you throw him in the 75th minute because
Yeah.
you are desperate for our goal. You know what I'm saying? So it was like that kind of thing. Not saying that the same player. I don't want to get that twisted, but it's a mentality thing.
Yeah, fair call. Going over to some other comments, King Darian thinks Kessier is coming to Inter. To be honest, bro, I hope not. I see that guy playing when he plays for Milan when he's not trying. And while I would be all for weakening another rival, I don't think this is a guy that's going to be willing to match what we're offering him. Our highest paid midfielder is probably going to be Brozovic, although Matt Pickham says Brozo getting nervous, 100%. Not really about the whole contract situation, but I hate. Well, no, it is the contract situation because I'm hating how many reports need to come out that it's really, really close to be done without it actually happening. Like, I understand that some of these things are really just a matter of timing and making sure certain dates and wages link up. But we'll see what happens after the next couple of games, because if that contract isn't signed within the next month or so, I'll definitely start to worry. Luke says, into podcast with Aussie Time Zone, give me more. Bro, make sure you subscribe if you're new. I'll try and bring as much content in the afternoons when I get home from school as possible.
I actually like the Kessie as a sign it.
Why do you like Kessie as a signing so much?
I think he brings the depth that we needed to push for more than a Scudetto. He's a good player. I still think that he's one of the better midfielders in Serie A. I wouldn't say he's the best. I wouldn't say he's better than Brozovic. I wouldn't really put him in our starting lineup. Where the question comes is he worth paying just to kind of just be a sub impact player? I don't know. I don't. To me, the wages don't matter as much, because I feel like if they're going to bring good players, you have to pay them. And say Çalhanoğlu gets hurt for 6 months, or Barella gets hurt for 3 months, or Brozovic gets hurt for a couple months. Kessie slots right in, starts fine. And then when they come back, they go right back into the lineup, and Kessie, he just fills in when he needs to.
We need more transparency about how much the club has got in terms of spending, man. Like, we really, really need it, in my opinion, because I don't know. We don't know what we're working with as fans. We're talking around going, oh, can we sign Dybala, 7.5 million? Can we afford Kessier as a bench player for freaking 7 million a season? Do we have a shot at Ginter, who's gone to Bayern Munich? Are we in for Bremer? We don't know, because this whole Suning situation is still kind of effed up. And we don't know what to talk about until we know for sure whether or not we've got new investors, whether or not we've got new owners, whether or not we're selling anybody to raise space. And no, we can't sign anybody. So I have no idea, man.
As far as I go towards it, I'm ignorant towards it all. So, if he's good enough to be signed, I think he should be signed. Is he worth the contract? I don't know. That's not for me to say. That's for Marotta to come up with. If he thinks 7.5 million is too much and he doesn't want him, fine. I don't care.
Yeah,
I have no problem not signing him if that's the case, if he's too expensive, because he's going to get that money somewhere, and good for him. If we can't afford it, okay, we'll find somebody else, I guess. But I think he's a good player, and for face value, I would sign him. He's much better than anybody else we have from that bench. He's much better than Vecino, Gagliardini, Sensi, because he actually plays. I don't even know who else.
Can you believe Sensi went off injured for Sampdoria already, bro? Yes.
I was actually saying how he started for more games for Sampdoria than he has for Inter, and it's only been 2 games.
But he's already gone off injured, and he's already had gastro once as well.
Yo, he's a bitch. I'm so glad he's gone.
You know what I think it is, man? Because he's active on social media. I reckon his missus is like the ball and chain sort of type that says play as little as possible and just stay home with me.
Oh my God, he's such a waste. I hope he just goes.
It's a big waste.
Serie D and calls it a day.
Big time, bro. Go play for Catania when they get bankrupt, man. That's what I'd love to see. King Darian says, should Agume return to Inter next season? Yeah, I wouldn't mind having him for a little bit of depth, because Mario is saying no, but like, hear my argument.
Actually, maybe. Keep going.
My argument is you can save about 2 million in wage space if he replaces a Vecino or a Gagliardini or a Vidal. Like, if this guy's good enough to replace one of them, which I actually think he probably is by now, he's probably willing to give more up here. If he can replace one of them and he's doing it for $1 million cheaper, then I see no issue with it. If the guy's okay with being rotational and coming in for Vecino and Gagliardini, I see no issue.
Yeah, he was good. Where was he last year? Spezia?
Yeah, isn't he playing at Brest now in
Now he's
Ligue 1?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's at Brest, and he's not really doing
Do we have
anything.
another one of our players on loan there? Not Esposito. He's in Switzerland.
Is it?
Satriano. I think Satriano's at Brest as well.
Yeah, I think so. I'll tell you in 2 seconds. Yeah,
I don't know.
Sartiano. Yeah,
Shams is
he's there.
better at the loan watchers than I am.
3 goals in 4 games.
Oh, that's all right.
That's good.
It's
That's
very
really
good.
good, actually.
It is very good.
330 minutes, 3 goals. So, I mean, he's proven he can score, but the problem is, can he score for Inter? That's always the problem. They throw these guys into the Inter lineup, and God knows what happens.
Well, that's it, man. And you got to think, like, isn't it exhausting treating every striker like a Pinamonti all the time and just waiting, aimlessly? Although, he's been decent this season. I said it a couple of times. I wouldn't mind him coming back as like a last choice, but then you got to shoot for better than that. You really need to shoot for better than that because next season, if we are looking to sign Dybala, that's a huge shift for us from Juventus because that would mean that Juve, on top of needing to get 2 or 3 new players, need to get another player to replace Dybala. It's that whole old school Bayern Munich model of why look overseas when I can just buy the best players in Dortmund or the best player from Wolfsburg or the best player from Leverkusen, Mönchengladbach. And Juve did it to an extent of time. Like, you don't just drop all that money on Higuain and Pjanic when Napoli and Roma are second best for nothing. And, had there not been so much bad blood, I'm sure they would have tried to get a couple of our players as well. And I don't think for a second that they haven't tried to nick Barella or Brozovic or Skriniar from behind the scenes. I believe it 100%. PIF, not too sure if they're coming. Do I want them here? 100%. I've got no moral reason. Anybody that wants to sit there and say like, oh, morally it's not right to have investors like that are responsible for murder, blah, 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 blah. Like, please point me in the direction of any clubs that are run legit in this day and age because it really isn't. It really isn't. Not in Italy, domestically, not in Europe anyway. And we're already owned by Chinese billionaires. How much more corrupt do you think we can get? We've already bridged that gap, right?
Worse.
Come on, man. Like, let's not draw the line where the line does not need to be drawn. Anybody could place Vidal at this point. Bro, correction. Anyone could place a starting Vidal at this point. When you bring Vidal on with 25 minutes to go, I'll take him next season again after that, man. This guy does not let the other team get anything for 25 minutes. Like, defending a lead, bring him on. Up by 3 goals, bring him on. Chasing a goal, bring him on. For 25 minutes, man, Arturo Vidal's still the man. You just can't afford his sort of wage for sitting the bench. That's all.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's the same situation with Alexis Sanchez. You throw Vidal on, and instantly you see just energy. This guy is just going to kill someone. He's chasing people down. He doesn't give a damn what happens. He's like, I'm going to win this ball back, and I'm going to go straight to the goal. I don't care. But, obviously he has his drawbacks where the last time he came on 2 weeks ago against Sassuolo, I think it was, he just lost like every ball. And I was like, what the hell? Like, I love Vidal. I'll fight for the guy, but like, stop trying to play 70-yard balls with your left foot across the whole field. It's never going to work right now. Play a 5-yard ball with your right foot. But no, he's important. He's a winner. He's a hardworking player, and he lifts the team in training and on the pitch. As a starter, he might not have it anymore. Fine, he's 35 years old, I understand, but he's a locker room guy. He's a role player. Those are the kind of guys you need. You can't have a team of 25, 21-year-olds, 23-year-olds where, they never played with, like a professional player in their life, it seems. They've never been in a knockout stage of a tournament after the U17 Primavera games, and they're looking at like, oh shit, I'm going up against Matthias de Ligt. Oh my god, is that Chiellini? Holy shit, I can see up his nose. Like, you don't want a team like that. You want a team that has 3 or 4 veterans. You pay them the extra money because they're going to give you that hardworking winner mentality that they pass on to the next generation, and they pass on to the next generation, and then as a whole, it just makes sense. That's why these players were brought in by Conte to make a difference, because he's like, we have a bunch of losers in the team. Barella, great player. He's a loser. He came from Cagliari. What the hell am I going to do with him? Sensi, biggest loser I've ever seen in my life because the guy he hasn't played a game of soccer in his life since he left Sassuolo. Even
He
there, he
actually
didn't
said
take
this,
a
by
point.
the way, for other listeners.
He
Mario's
did.
not going on a rant. Like, he actually said this in an interview. We've
He
got
said,
players from Cagliari and Sassuolo. What do you expect? I think it was after one of the games. It might have been when we lost to
yep,
Dortmund 3-2 because we were winning 2-0 at halftime,
yep,
or it might have been when we lost to Barcelona against their B
one of those
team. That's when
games.
it was.
And he was just like, he's like, with this team that I have right now, we're not going to get anywhere. We need players that have been there and done that. That's why Sanchez, Vidal, even Zeko, Lukaku, sort of. If Lukaku was more of like, I know what this guy is, he can be a champion.
Yeah.
So it was more of, like he's going to fit the project. He had a reason for everything that he did. Inzaghi, he inherited a team that had just won, so they knew what it took. And now he's like, okay, how do I make these group of winners better? Not,
Yeah.
more champions, because Inzaghi hasn't won anything as a player
Yeah.
or as a coach. I don't think as a player. Maybe Lazio 2000 Scudetto. Maybe.
No, he won as a player. I think he won the Scudetto, but didn't he win the Coppa Italia he won the Coppa? Yeah.
Yeah, he won with Lazio. So
Yeah.
okay, he has a winning mentality to an extent, but he doesn't have that next level
Yeah.
where he's winning like the Premier League, the Serie A. He's pushing for Champions League. It was none of that. He was developing players a lot, so making them better, and then it worked out. And that's what he's doing here. I think tactically and technically, the players have gotten better since last year. But the problem was, we've seen they get figured out. There's no plan B sometimes. This happens to literally every manager that you've ever seen, except for Mourinho, Guardiola, Klopp. Okay, top tier managers, fine. Well, there's only a handful of top tier managers that can go around, and we can't afford to have them at the time. So you know what I'm saying? Like we got a good coach in what we have. Everyone has their limitations. Napoli's complaining Spalletti, even though Spalletti has them doing the best they've done since their
Yep.
Higuain days. Like you're just never going to be happy. You're always going to nitpick something. I think we're in a great position.
Yeah, man. Like, as I've said before, Simone Inzaghi really wants this Scudetto. He's got that hunger for this Scudetto. He really wants it. So I'm hoping that's one of the big factors that might be able to push us over the line. We had 28 people here on Inter Worldwide for a podcast today, which is really, really good, man. I'm really happy that we did this. So before we finish off and before we go over to Serie A Fantasy as well, Mario, Liverpool, we've segued a lot in this podcast, and that's the way I like it, man. No script, best way to do it. But Liverpool at Anfield, extremely tough, expected to field a full-strength lineup. They've literally just got themselves back in a title race with Manchester City because they never, ever drop points domestically, ever. I don't remember the last time I woke up, checked the score, and they did not drop points. That's Mario cross-referencing right now. I can check. But still, it's going to be tough. Salah, Mane, probably Diego Jota up front as well. Henderson and Fabinho expected to start in midfield alongside whoever else that he wants to choose, to be honest. Take your pick. And Liverpool will tell you that they've got the best right back of all time in Trent Alexander-Arnold, and then they'll say that Andy Robertson is a better left back than prime Roberto Carlos. And then, of course, Virgil van Maldini. And who's the other one? Is it Matip? Matip as well next to him. Although Virgil van Dijk is an incredible centre back. Don't get me wrong. He's the best. He's the best centre back in the world for the last 3-4 years. He really is. He's fantastic.
I love it. I love him. I love their players. That's what I hate the most.
Yeah, me too.
Go there, and then they go there. I'm like, I hate you now. I hope you break your leg, sort of thing. I hope the worst upon you. Like, I don't care.
That was the biggest frustration. Like, I was even telling my closest friends, I'm like, you know what the worst part about this is? I can't hate you. Like, especially in that Barcelona tie where they scored the 4 goals. I'm like, you know what the worst part about this is? A part of me enjoys what's happening because you can't not. Why do you have to do that? Why do you have to be the ones playing like this? It's too much. But how badly are we going to hate it when we go to Anfield?
I'm just hoping that they get cocky and they put out like a B team and then we slap them around a little bit and then throw Mo Salah in the last minute to try to recover. That's me living in a perfect world. But they're gonna come. They're gonna play with their strongest team probably, and we're not gonna have Barella. So who knows what the hell's gonna happen? We saw. I mean, for our defense, sure, we didn't win. We didn't come out with a positive result. We played for 75 minutes, but for that 75 minutes, we looked really fucking good. I'll tell you that much. We outplayed the second best team in England, one of the best teams in the world. I hate to say it, but we went toe to toe with them and with a couple stupid goals, it's we should have beat them. I mean, sure, all hearsay, all he say, but I think Liverpool fans at the end of the day, they couldn't have said, "Oh, we played better than you." I didn't see any of that shit on Twitter, on the comments, and on our last video. They all said, "Well, you lost 2-0 at the end of the day."
Yeah,
so,
it was textbook Liverpool fan response, man. Like peak.
Scumbags. So it's like when I play FIFA, I take 35 shots on goal, and the other guy wins 1-0 off a corner because my goalie caught the ball and threw it into his own goal. That's how we basically lost. That's how I'd say it.
Yo, Mario, what's in them boxes? I may need them. Lord Figo says.
I got some shades I got to return. I got a computer that got shipped to me that doesn't work, and I got a Peloton mat.
Nice one, bro. Thanks to the 31 people joining us on Inter Worldwide. It is fantastic to see those numbers here on a very convenient time for me, not so convenient for Mario. Prediction. What are you going to say? I'm going to go. I think Liverpool get a goal. I think we scare them enough to get a goal. I could see this ending 1-1, 2-1 to Liverpool. They don't blow us out, but the tie is never in doubt. Never, ever in doubt, man. I'm hoping it's not something stupid like 3-0, 4-0. So I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool.
I'm going to go 3-0 Inter.
What? This guy's
crazy. I don't even care. I'm living my own dream world right now. Fuck Liverpool.
He's crazy. He doesn't know what he's talking about, guys.
I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't care.
Where are you, Keston? It's 2 a.m. where you are. You're probably on the same time zone as Mario. Isn't it about 2 a.m. where you are as well?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Wait, 1 o'clock. 2 a.m. Where's that?
I don't know, man. Could be in the Caribbean somewhere.
Yeah. That makes sense.
All right, let's have a look. You want me to send you off, man, or you want to stick around for my Serie A fantasy team?
I'll stick around. Why not? I don't got nothing to do.
All right, Matt. Guys, if you haven't already, go to Serie A Fantasy. Use the code. Links in the description. I'll put it up on the screen as well. Dusan Vlahovic, the only good thing about him is he's the most consistent player on fantasy that you'll probably ever meet in any fantasy league in your life.
How much is Piatek right now?
That's a good shout. Let's see. Let's see how it goes.
He's got 5 goals in 9 games, I want to say.
I've still got 4 free transfers to make. Serie A Fantasy are the most generous fantasy league that you'll play because this team that I'm putting, bro, what sort of fantasy league in the world do you see that could allow you to put a team out of this magnitude? Look, Simeone, Vlahovic, Abraham, Quadrado, Barella, Kandreva, Pasalic, Brema, Skriniar, Di Lorenzo, and Juan Musso. I guess the only good thing is that everybody gets to play with a really good team no matter what.
Yeah. You just got to pick the right ones.
Exactly right, on the right week. So next round, Abraham against Udinese. I'll keep him in. I'll keep Vlahovic against Sampdoria. All right. Should we take Simeone out? He's not going to score against Napoli. Napoli need 3 points now, big time, because they just lost to Milan. So I'm happy to take Simeone out this week. Who are Fiorentina playing? And how much is Piontek?
I don't know. He's got 6 goals in 9 games.
Yeah, I know. Caprari, Pedro, Caputo, where is he? He's cheap as, man. He's way down the list. No one is picking him up. No one is picking up Piontek. There you go, 28. It's maybe because he's just not in the league.
5.8.
Against Bologna, man. I'm going to clip this later. This might have been one of the smartest things you've ever said to me, man. Watch this be another Mario masterstroke, bro.
Listen, you don't understand the brain power I use just to put these things out there. I give you gold and you guys shun me away.
Should I take Kandreva out or is he going to score against Juve? Is he going to have a masterclass?
He's not going to have a masterclass against Juve.
Good call. I can pretty much get any midfielder I want with the money I've got left. So, I'm going to just put Berardi right in there. Low key, probably like best player of the season. Honestly, man.
Who are they playing with?
Salernitana. Ui!
I just won you the league.
Probably. My budget goes down a little bit, though.
That's okay. You could take 2 points.
I could take 2 points just for having a laugh, man, to be honest. All right, let's do it.
Okay.
Transfer budget is overflowing. Ooh, nah. Now, we've got 2 free transfers left, so you know what? If we can make another sacrifice and get some cap space back, 2.4 million worth.
Who's on the bench?
You're right. I do have an expensive bench. Pedro Rodriguez, Milinkovic, Teo Hernandez, and Consigli. It's a very expensive bench.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a baseball or a football league where somebody else can pick them up. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you drop a Pedro against Venezia. Maybe next week his price goes down. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. All right, for 6.2, I've got to keep it under 6.2.
I just get like the cheapest one.
Yeah, it'll be cool. I can put
Simeone.
Simeone back on the bench.
Caprari's also been on a heater lately.
Well, and it needs to be a midfielder though.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh, Barak's a baller, man.
I like
Zakanya,
Frattesi. Zaccagni.
Zakanya is hitting form, man. I reckon he can get a call
Yes.
up to the national team soon as well.
I'm a fan of Zaccagni since
I
he's
like
been
him.
at Verona when I used to take them over in career mode back in like FIFA 17 or some shit like that. He was a baller. He's always just been. He's only getting better. I'm happy he finally has a team that's like good, not great.
Yeah,
He's good.
yeah. That was fun. Thanks for sticking around, man.
Yeah, of
We should
course.
make it a regular thing, talking these fantasy talks.
No.
We're going to talk Torino as well. So let's just talk about that really quickly, just for a few minutes before we wrap up. It's been 50 minutes. It's been fun. Still 22 people here. Torino is the most important game because I don't think we're going to go through against Liverpool. So I'll ask you a couple of questions hypothetically. Who do you start against Liverpool and who do you start against Torino in terms of the forwards?
Liverpool, you gotta go Lautaro and Zeko.
Yeah.
I don't think you could change it. I don't think you try anything else. Correa, I don't really know if he's going to be good as a starter.
He'll get re-injured against that fast Liverpool side,
that's what
bro.
I'm saying. Everyone's saying when he pays, sure, yeah, whatever, great. But I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Zeko's so much better than him, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. You could probably start Lautaro and what's it called? You could
Correa.
probably Lautaro and Correa against Torino, or Lautaro, Alexis, and bring Correa on.
I think it's Lautaro Zeko both games. I don't think he switches. I don't see why not. I mean, yeah, sure, fixture congestion, but I mean, I don't think he wants to rotate it, especially with with the title being so close.
Yeah, exactly, man. For me, like I was really impressed with Gosens when he came on against Salernitana. He's going to be a huge addition. I think you start him against Torino after you start Perisic against Liverpool. That's a fantastic addition. Start Darmian in one of the two matches instead of Dumfries. Start the other one. You know, these are two players that we're not worrying about as much anymore. We know that they know what to do. And just quietly, man, Denzel Dumfries is getting shout outs for having better positioning and better defensive awareness than Ashraf Hakimi ever had at Inter so far.
Even coming from me, where the first
3 months.
First 3 months of the season, I said this guy was one of the worst players I've ever seen play for Inter. Now I can say he's adapted into his role. I don't know what he did, what Inzaghi did, what the players around him have done, but he's become a much better player, and I'm really happy to see it. I wanted him to succeed from day one, but the problem was I had questions about him.
We've been burnt a lot in that position. I think that was part of your thinking as well. Like it's so easy to watch another Lazzaro, another whatever come through and just fail.
It's the toughest position in Italy, I'd say, to be not elite but like good at, because if you go the past past 7 seasons or so, name the top right backs, and it's like, okay, what do you say? Cancelo was good for a year.
Yeah.
Or two.
There's no consistency in this league in that position. There's none.
And then they fall off. Danilo was supposed to be a good signing for Juve. He stinks. Like Karsdorp. We wanted Karsdorp. He went to Roma. Stinks. Milan, who are they starting now? Calabria? He's okay. I wouldn't say he's great. I wouldn't say he's the best. Then, what happened to Bruno Perez? He was the top right back in the world. Serie A, I guess you could say. Look, I just named some of the top right backs at 1 season, 2 season wonders, and that's it. You know?
Lord Figo, you're always commenting on the scarves, man. Do you have any scarves yourself? I'd be more than happy to arrange a deal in something fun. Like, say we win the Scudetto, I'll swap you one of mine for yours, man. I've got a couple from Inter Clubs, Sydney, and one is from the official website. And I think there's another fluffy one right here. But yeah, prediction for Torino. You think we go there and we get a win away from home? It won't be easy. I'm going to go 1-2. We score both goals in the first half.
I think it's a 2-0 game. I don't think
nice one.
I think we have a good enough defense, and I think Belotti's better than he was recently. When he first scored against Milan, he's sort of found his form since. I think we put him to sleep.
Yeah, fair enough. This was fun. You heard it here. Well, maybe not first, but sign Dybala. Probably won't go through against Liverpool. Will beat Torino. And Mario thinks that we're going to go on and win the Scudetto. I'll wait until we come out of the second game in Turin against Juve, but we'll see how it goes. Mario, thanks for joining me, man. The time just flew in that one. That was awesome.
Yeah, of course. Let me know anytime. Always available for this shit. Most of the time, sometimes.
Awesome. Follow Mario Sweatshirt on Twitter. You can follow me at @Privatera. Follow us at InterWW and like and subscribe if you are new. Thank you to everybody who came in the chat. We got as high as 31 today, which is really nice on a rainy Sunday afternoon in Sydney. So from all of us here at Inter Worldwide, Forza Inter Worldwide. Ciao.